Okay, so now we're going to look at our next question for this at-home skill check. We're going to look at the standardized side-by-side bar chart. What do you notice? Okay, so create a standardized side-by-side bar chart for work class group by sex. So we had already made our table, which basically tells us everything we need to know, but we like to make a visualization of this. So in order to do this, we have to make sure we're still filtered to employment employment employed, and 40 to 45. And we're going to go into plots, and we're going to go into bar chart. And the variable is the variable of interest, the response variable, which is work class. And we're going to group by sex. Now there's a lot of features. I'll always show you the base one first. This is the base one. The base one, it looks like, private is the most common, and then goes government, and then self-employed. For men, government and self-employed are about the same. For females, more government than self-employed. But this it leaves a little bit uncertain because we don't know the percentages, we just know the counts. So we would like to do percentages, and that would be the first thing you would think about clicking on. But then what happens is you get something that looks almost exactly the same, and it gives you a percentage of 33. And you add this up, it's 8, and you get this again, and it's 4. So that's like 8, 4, 12, 33. That's only like 50 or 45%. You add these up, it's 45, 4, and 4. So it's like 9, and this one's like 55. It's because this is the total percentages of everybody. It doesn't really help to see this. So we prefer actually to do relative frequencies inside of each group. This is like doing row or column percentages. When we do this now, the percentages will be, and it still sort of looks the same. If you look at the two of these, they sort of look the same, but they're actually not, because this one looks a lot bigger than this one. This one, that's starting to get a little bit closer. And when you hover over, you see like it's 73% versus 83%. And that is what we found here, 73 and 83 for private. When you come, so one thing to know, if you're doing this right, a contingency table should match the bar chart. And we see we got 17.3% versus 7.9. That's what we see here, 17.7.9. This still, though, it's a little challenging still to like compare across. Yeah, you can compare the big bars, and you could compare all this, but it takes a lot of work. So what we prefer to do is to stack the bars. When we stack the bars, it's a little easier to compare because we can look right across and see the size of the bars. But this is still not using great use of the space, so I like to flip the coordinates as well. When we do this, now I think this, to me, is the best view, but it does take some understanding of what we have here. But what you can see here is private, 83% of men. So this bar is all the men. See how it goes to 1? That's 100% of all the men. And we know it's 83% of male are privately employed. 8% or 7.9% are governmentally employed, and 8.3% are self-employed. For females, it's 73% are privately employed, 17.3% are governmental employed, and 9.3% are self-employed. So it is pretty interesting that males are most likely to be privately employed. Females are actually a little more likely to be self-employed than males. And women are also quite a bit more likely, we'd say over twice as likely, because this is 8% and this is 17%. If you double 8, it's 16. So this is over 2 times as likely, 2 times more likely than males to be working for the government. So I did this one right. I had just the relative frequencies. This is when I stack them, and this is when I flip the coordinates. What you'll see, the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to do the contingency table with the explanatory variable as the row with row percents. And then when we do the bar chart, we're going to do response variables, work class, group by is the explanatory variable, and then stack relative frequency and flip the coordinates. All right, hope this helps you all out. Good luck.